Hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome back to Stasis. I have now, checked walkthrough, and I am amazed at what the game really expects you to do here. So essentially, there are in some PDAs and some let's say other screens around, there are these chemical formulas there as sort of hints, which are hints at this solution here. Which is not, it's not something one couldn't find if one keeps on looking for them and all that. The kicker here is that even the walkthrough I'm consulting says that there are hints for only most of these, and one of them you have to just brute force guess according to the walkthrough. The walkthrough could be wrong. There are not many of them out there of this game, so it could be wrong, but that's just to point out what I'm working with here. That these just conundrums are rather interesting in how they don't actually want to be solved, and that even the walkthrough says, well, you just gotta guess the last one a lot, and then it will probably be fine, so yay. Hello. Are you a friendo? Do you want to say hi?
Yourself. You'll be okay.
You fall down a lot. I mean, I don't mean...
Woke him up. The survivor. He didn't make it. I think I killed him. I think I did something.
I told you to leave him. He was dead the minute they froze him. You just made his death easier, simpler.
Uh-huh.
I just killed a man, Tia.
You need to move before you become another dead body.
Have some mercy.
Mercy. You have no idea how much mercy I have. I've been in hell. Made choices that got people killed.
Like the ones you're doing now.
Just like you anymore. I'm sorry. I need you, John.
The dialogue is still a little, well, clunky, but also I don't think she's on the up and up. It doesn't make much sense why she would be. But so do I get the fluid? Yeah, that's again, as I mentioned, the walkthrough is you know those walkthroughs that write the things in a very long-winded way, that it just instead of giving you bullet points of do this, and this, it's, well, and then you might want to consider doing it's just, Jesus Christ, man, it's just walls and walls of text with not too much helpful stuff there. But I think I'm good here now, and then I can go back here. I hope. And again, if you also a good reason to at least check for a few steps of the walkthrough in between episodes is the game is pretty slow paced to begin with. If I keep on trying to just endlessly just guess every insane solution in the game, we'll be here all year, and I'll not finish the game anyway. Then there's no point. I mean, it's already a game with walls and walls and walls of text for lore dumps, and then one would then always just sit around for 15 minutes just looking at a problem with no solution anywhere that could then be solved with pixel hunting or just some other
I don't know what I was thinking there.
just thing. Okay, so I'm kind of surgical tray maybe is the thing I put this into. Yeah. Again, I feel like I tried this, but okay, sure. And then, if I understood correctly, for some reason using the empty pistol on the blood and tissue sample on the surgical tray helps. You mush it into a smaller thing, and while I suppose that you know, I suppose one doesn't have in the inventory a hard surface to mush it into toward. It is still a really, I gotta call hard BS on that solution, because if it doesn't work to combine them in your inventory, assuming the player to think of using the empty gun on the blood and guts of whatever that happens to be put from the inventory to a table, which just is a table, and then that'll work, because yes, but not in your inventory. I know why you don't have a hard surface. In a way you can twist it to make sense that way, but when you're making a video game conundrum, that is a really ass backwards and just misleading way of having a solution, which again, I have some thoughts on this, in that, yeah, it's an old school point and click conundrum game of, well, they're hard, they were always hard, yes, but I'll get back to that why it doesn't work here eventually. So I'm kind of
Maybe.
okay, so the next thing that I need to do is,
It doesn't work like that.
oh, come on now. So, oxygen Joreg, there you are. Pixel hunting into the correct thing.
Surgical plot is not properly prepared for the selected program.
Right. So, organic receptacle. Yes. So, just to recap, in order to program the surgical robot to do the thing I needed to do to my body, I need to scoop up some blood and intestines and such from a wall, mush it up a little, and just feed that to the machine with the other, you know, anesthetics and stasis fluids and such, and that somehow works. As opposed to telling the machine, like, hey, here's my blood sample, that's my tissue, that's what you're working with. I don't know, man. Yeah. I've heard from some reviews that, well, this game's, you know, these puzzles, they're not impossibly hard. What game did they play? I call somewhere around half of the puzzles in this game BS and impossible, like, and making no sense. Maybe it's like an ego thing. They just feel like, well, we have to.
Be awake for this.
You're not helping.
Sorry. Okay. Just shit.
Don't need to.
Even be careful doesn't cover it.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. It's not like the power's gonna cut out in the middle of surgery.
Shit, John. Why would you even say that?
I'm about to cut into my spinal cord. I'm allowed one joke.
I'll be monitoring.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Deep breath, oh man. You can do this.
Right. Red status screen, which usually means dead, but apparently not this time. Okay, but yeah, so, like, as I said, maybe it's an ego thing to just write that, oh, well, I didn't find the puzzles to be all that hard at all. They're possible to do. They're not too hard, yes. Or maybe I'm just dumb. I'm willing to accept that.
I am Robin, the automated
Hello.
surgical med pod. Your physician will explain the procedure to you and offer you an opportunity to ask any questions. You may feel some discomfort after the procedure, such as a headache or nausea. Let your
Or
nurse
death.
know if you are uncomfortable, so that you may be given medication and/or other treatment.
Yay.
The treatment begins. Warning, subject is not correctly prepared.
Are we good? Or, you know, do I need to... Okay, so before I dig into my spine, just to mention that I'm willing to accept that that the solution is that I'm dumb. That's probably true. However, those people who say that, well, the puzzles aren't all that hard, I want what they're having for breakfast. Because that is some brain food that I want to get my hands on then. Because, boy... Okay. Again... I have like a notion at some point here, but this I can't click on any of these except for the red one. Okay, cool beans. Yes. Right.
Program 0415 initiated.
If you say so. Sounds fun. Also, if I'm awake, why did I need the stasis fluid? Just asking, you know. Okay. And open. Sounds fun, yes.
Hazard in core system. Power in core system.
Okay then. So, isn't this fun? So, if I understand correctly, what I'm looking at is first you, as it's actually I think hinted at in there, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. So 1. Do. 2. Happy thoughts, John. Happy thoughts. 4. Sorry, 3. That's the best spot. But I said wrong. I didn't do wrong. That's the important bit. 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. That wasn't too bad, was it, John? It's fine. There we are. Yay! We did it good, I hope. Also, we have a monster on the left there, which might prove to be a bit of an issue, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully. Oh, there you are. You're eating the other person, I hope, I think. Right. So far so good? Question mark?
Rebecca. No. Rebecca. Run. No. Rebecca. Run. No. Rebecca. Run.
I think we can move forward.
I'm here.
I've been trying to contact you. I couldn't hear anything. I thought the worst.
How long was I out?
2 hours.
Well?
Okay. Alive. Mostly. Fuck, my back is sore.
Language.
3 decks and you'll see your daughter. Focus on that. You should have enough drugs running through you to keep going for a few more hours.
Drugs. I've never been a fan. But these are definitely the good ones.
Good for you. Okay, so... We had Oh, come on, can you walk a little... Oh, come on. Oh, no. Don't tell me you can't run. I'm double-clicking and he's not Oh, no. I've mentioned before, don't try to create tension or anything by means of, hey, let's make the characters slow. Can we just... Yep, can't run. Oh, boy. That is... That sure is. Oh, boy. Really? Can't we just say that, well, we rested and we can just go? I'm not saying one would run after a surgery in real life, but here it's not creating any, like, immersion is not really a thing with this game, because you've already broken all of it by means of having all these puzzles that are practically the kind where you just need a walkthrough. When you have that, you don't create horror immersion, unless the horror is literally just like amazing beyond all belief, and it's average at best, I feel, mostly, so... That... Don't make your character slow, it's just tedious. This game has no idea what pacing is, it really doesn't. Like, it's not all bad, it's just that I'm having just... It's flaw after flaw after flaw with this. Like, it looks cool, as I mentioned a lot of times, but it...
Level 2. Kitchen knife and snowflake are off limits.
Right. Anyway, it's... Oh, come now.
Level 3. Hydroponics is off limits.
Are we good? Yay! Look.
Perfect.
Well, it's a change of
Where
color.
are you, John? Without the PDT, I can't track a shit.
Hydroponics. Or what's left of hydroponics. The shaft's covered in growth. I'm not going anywhere.
Listen, wait. Let me check the blueprints. Yes, hydroponics has a service elevator.
You don't say.
Affirmative.
Keep me in the loop.
How about no, but I don't get the option to not do that. Now you can run. Okay, fine, good. I was worried that they were gonna just walk slow the entire rest of the game. That I wouldn't have put it past them. But yeah, it's like this has things going for it, but it has a lot of flaws. And when I encounter flaws, I have to call them out because they annoy me so much. It's not a bad game overall, but it has enough flaws to keep it from reaching what I feel going for, at least in my, view. Okay, well, let's check some rooms.
This is ridiculous. How did it grow this world in a few months?
You would be amazed what, greenery can do in a few months.
These plants can't naturally develop this fast.
Kane developed the technology to accelerate plant growth. Oxygen is big business.
I'm sure. At this point, I don't have an immediate course of action in my notes here, but I got a feeling I can probably at least interact with. Okay, well, emails from Dr. A. Tenshu to Dr. S. Gray, my family. Dr. Gray, I do not wish to seem unprofessional or impolite, but I would ask that you do not press me on the subject of my ancestry any further. I was nearly refused entry to medical school on the basis of my family's background and the torment I suffered at the hands of my school peers regarding my great-great-uncle was unbearable. I'm fully aware of his actions and I've seen countless photographs and documents of the consequences of his work. I took his position to change our world for the better, not to be reminded of the skeletons in my family's closet. I've enjoyed our working relationship thus far, Dr. Gray, but I prefer my family history no longer be a topic of our conversations. Thank you for understanding, Akiza. Okay, and from Dr. E.F. Way to Dr. S. Gray, meal. Dr. Gray, I enjoyed our meal yesterday. It was refreshing to hear a man so outspoken on the ship. I appreciate your candor and I do agree that perhaps it's time the board was shaken up a little. Although this is merely an observation rather than an action plan. I think the top leadership needs some new blood. I'd second you if you decided to take on the challenge yourself. Your impeccable scientific pedigree more than qualifies you. By the way, did you know where they were keeping that new cargo? It seems rather like a waste of resources if they won't even tell us where it is. Regards, Dr. E.F. Way. Okay then, and then to the log entries. January 2nd. Finally, we have more room for the Lincesi Harvey strain, which I've been working on so hard. It's days like this that humanity truly proves why it crawled out of the ocean before any other. Wait, what? Hold the phone here. It's days like this that humanity truly proves why it crawled out of the ocean before any other. Okay, I know we have some reading to do, but just hold that thought in your mind for a second, because the sentence structure doesn't mean for me that the other is other days, because it's days like this that humanity truly proves why it crawled out of the ocean before any other, as in it crawled before any other. Humanity didn't crawl out of the ocean. That's not how evolution works. I can't pull from the top of my head the first, land creature thing, whatever, that crawled from the ocean and such and so, but let's just go out on a whim and say that most documentaries or some such and so mention like amphibians that crawled, or ancestors of amphibians that crawled out of the ocean and such and such, and so humanity didn't crawl in. Right, good doctor, yes. My section has been expanded. I have more staff, true, but they are drones and have little other function. Now we can expand the research potential of Project Kitchen Knife and see what else the plants can yield. The oxygen production rate is quite unlike anything my initial projections could have predicted. Last year it became the worst kept secret on the Groom Lake, and all of the sudden, I had more interns that I could comfortably employ. Their only function is to stumble about the place and ask troublesome questions that I have little time to answer. If only our world was more like that of insects. Right, I have plenty of workers and drones, but none of the unwavering loyalty. Bees work and work, the faith in their queen unquestioning and constant. That kind of loyalty is beyond price. These interns of mine have their uses, I suppose. We always need volunteers willing to get close to the queen. You do know what happens to... In a number of ways, the part of the queen in an insect system is not exactly the best thing in the world. But... right? It's the center of operations, yes, but it doesn't always... You need to get on your animal research, man. I just... Yeah. February 16th. Am I supposed to... oh, wow. Dyslexia going... I mean, I don't read... I read very badly. Okay. Am I surrounded by incompetents? Some of those imbecilic interns got too close to the Queen, and she showed him her affection. Quite amusing, though not to him. This means that I must attend another accident debriefing with the board, though Dr. Malan does love to test me. I see him up on the hearing bench, and he grins at me in that supercilious look that he has perfected over the years. I suppose that I have him to thank for my current position. I was his recommendation to the board that made them hire me in the first place. Still, I believe he has come to enjoy these little power plays. He does so like to keep me under his heel. That, my dear doctor, is only a temporary situation. Once this project is complete, the chess games that we play so often will no longer be our only battleground. Regarding the project, some of the bug eggs failed to hatch properly. I suspect this is why the Queen was more aggressive than usual. There are more than enough drones to continue the collection work. Their unique chemical properties are doing wonders for the plants. Although I'm running short of interns prepared to work in close proximity to them since the last incident. The worker I appreciate the most is Akiza. I was astonished to discover that she is related to the legendary Dr. Tenshu of the Eugenics Wars. I did consider mentioning it to her, but I sense she is oddly ashamed to have him as her ancestor. If it wasn't for men like him, our profession would be a hollow shell of what it is now. Then again, if it wasn't for him, genetic research wouldn't have been put back by several generations, now would it? The ethical quandaries we face as men of science. June 16th. The insects are restless. They rumble in their apiaries and are more aggressive than usual. My personal deduction is that the presence of the marine thugs aboard the ship are the cause. Armed guards all over the place. I was stopped by one the other day and asked my reasons for going into hydroponics. Well, after explaining I was head of the damn project, I had the guard removed from his post and then the ship. This is insanity. How am I expected to progress with these thugs around? September 23rd. I recall complaining about the inundation of interns. If only they were still here now. Both Ivan and Theodore have disappeared from their rooms last night, and I've had to speak to security about their whereabouts. They were Akiza's assistants, and now the production of the Queen's Royal Jelly has slowed exponentially. That's been a huge blow, but a rather extraordinary anomaly has appeared in our growth pods, a hitherto undiscovered strain of fungus. Its origin is something of a mystery to me. Just a thought. Does exponentially also work negatively? I'm not sure. I don't know. But every time I've heard the word exponentially, it's been used to indicate the growth of something. Like a diagram or whatever, or the growth of even cells or such, but I'm not sure if slowed exponentially is a thing, although it is then also an increase in the amount of slowing, I suppose. Sure, but still, tell me if you know, because I'm not sure. These fungal growths fascinate. At first I thought it was common, garden variety mold, but after a substantial analysis performed by Akiza, it seems to harbor neuron activity. That is to say, it seems to exhibit rudimentary signs of intelligence. We've certainly created some unusual species on this deck, but the idea of a quasi-intelligent fungus growing and evolving of its own volition is exciting and frankly frightening. I've asked Akiza and the remnants of her team to cultivate it, but exhibit caution in where it is spread. October 24th. I was asked by one of Dr. Malan's assistants in the fungal substance discovered growing in the bowels of the ship had anything to do with us. I lied, of course, but this is becoming alarming. Our experiments flourished at first, We may have lost more staff recently, but our experiments have been very fruitful indeed. Confidentially, the properties of the fungus is both extraordinary and terrifying. It has the remarkable ability to take control of a living subject's central nervous system and hypothalamus, as observed in the monkey we used for testing. The monkey shrieked and trashed in rage for the first few days after it was exposed, and then it became quiet, observant, and uncannily intelligent. It's certainly aggressive, but then again, which viruses aren't? December 1st. No, no, no. We've officially lost control of the deck. Eden now truly belongs to the beasts. We've seen strange things. I watched as the fungus took control of the deck as it spread through the staff, and much to my shame, I watched their deaths and examined their bodies. Nobody can cross the pods because the bugs are so aggressive that when Solomon went through in a rat suit, they ripped it from his body and stung him to death. It took mere moments. Still, I live in the hope that the insects will remember me, their creator, and perhaps see me as one of their own. I don't think that's how insects... I don't think hive mind recognize... oh well. Or are insects really hive mind? Not really. Well, depends on the insect, I suppose, but still. Oh well. Anyhow. Essentially, I don't think they usually have as such intelligence per insect, but then again, it's a sci-fi game, so who knows. But I'm now all out of time for this episode, but I do hope you've enjoyed this. And indeed, I hope that I'm not exuding too much negativity in my going through this, but when I see something that annoys me, I just tend to instinctively call it out and explain oftentimes why I don't like it. But still, overall, I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm curious to see how the story, unfolds and ends. And I have a lot of critiques, but I still, even in my aggravating moments, I like the visual look of this and the sort of handcrafted way that these map areas sort of present themselves. They look cool, and that's a damn good start. But indeed, if you have enjoyed this, please do drop a like or a comment, or even subscribe or share if you want to. It would really, really help. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.